Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if it's your first time here. If it is, hit that subscribe button down below. We got a Brandon Herrera video today. We got It Broke, meaning he broke his AK-50 again. And May 26 update for us. Let's go.
This is the AK-50. And
this is the AK.
we broke it. But
again.
We fixed it. Yeah, the AK-50 is
and now we broke it again.
From the pet project of the channel, passion project, to being like the broke down Impala in your uncle's front yard that you just occasionally fix shit on when you remember it exists. Nah, but for real, while we really did, in my opinion, my very humble opinion, knock it out of the park with the AK-50 V3, there's always little tweaks and improvements and things that, while you got it 90% of the way there, you probably should fix certain things or stuff you didn't realize was a problem at the time. I'll explain. So there's a few design improvements that we made on the AK-50. It still doesn't have a safety, because that's irrelevant.
Nah.
If you don't want to destroy something, you probably shouldn't point a loaded 50 cal at it.
Yeah, he's not wrong about that one. I mean, if you're aiming this thing at something, I'm hoping you're going to pull the trigger.
There's three big design improvements that we have made on the AK-50 since you've last seen it. One of them was due to necessity. The other ones were just good ideas. Most notably, the reason why we had to take a moment to fix it in the first place, the firing pin broke. We haven't really been keeping exact tabs on how many rounds the AK-50 V3 has been through, but we're estimating it's somewhere around like 700 to 750 rounds. The number I was quoted was 720, roughly. And with that, spare firing pin. The firing pin kind of snapped off. Despite having run those hundreds and hundreds of rounds like an absolute champ, the other day it did have a little bit of performance issues when we let her take a sneaky appearance at Clash Bash.
That's why. You took the camera out. It just got camera shy, man. You can't be filming it while it's doing its thing. It just got nervous.
It's just a little shy. Give me a second.
It happens. 1 in 3 men.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of a fucking miracle that it didn't happen sooner. The shim being involved was kind of I don't know what you would say, an artifact of certain machining not going right. Plus the fact that the gun still ran as good as it did in the meantime is definitely a testament to the platform. So explaining that a little bit, there are two important dimensions. Although,
to be fair, the platform he based it off was a fucking AK, so of course it worked pretty well.
Well, there's actually a fuckload of important dimensions. On this axis, there are two important dimensions when it comes to the firing pin. Firing pin protrusion, which is the amount that the firing pin sticks out of the bolt to punch the primer and make the gun go boom. And then there's firing pin retraction, which is, turtle goes back into the shell. You really want that to happen because otherwise the gun just slam fires as soon as it goes into battery. That's not good. But there was a slight miscalculation when drilling the initial bolt stem, which required a shim to kind of band-aid fix that for the time being. It worked for a while. But a while is not forever. So
apparently not.
While we had the opportunity, we went back to the drawing board a little bit and came up with a new firing pin design entirely. This one being in 2 pieces. And in order for me to show you that, I have to disassemble the gun, which is where we get brought over to our second design improvement, the disassembly or takedown lever, or whatever it is we decide to call it.
So initially,
the way I wanted to do it was just kind of like a, I don't know, let's say like a key ring sort of thing where you just pull down. There's a little tab that, locks in your dust cover, for disassembly, making sure that this is retained. That was a really cool idea on paper and in the computer. It turns out the amount of force required to actually pull that, you just pull through the fucking key ring. We basically realized it didn't work immediately. So what we had to do was take like a punch or some shit like that, screwdriver, put it through the hole that the key ring would have been in and pulled down on it. And that was basically how you've seen us take this gun apart. But now we've got a more permanent solution to that.
Yeah, a more elegant solution.
Anyway. So what basically looks a little bit like a trigger guard, you basically just pull this down, and so this allows this to swing out, and then we can disassemble the gun.
Maybe.
Like so. And now the gun is topless, Gat's gone wild. we have access to the guts of the gun. So I am going to try to take out this buffer first.
Don't hurt yourself.
Let's see here. There we go. Pull out our new recoil spring assembly. There we are.
Nice.
Get our buffer out. And now
to the firing pin.
we remove our bolt end carrier.
Oh yeah, I remember that foldy bit.
New fluted and cut away AK-50 front piston, now fully coated and functional. It's been a while. I forget every now and again how fucking cool this gun is. So pull our bolt out. Then we have our AK-50 bolt here.
Ah.
So now
What's
to get
the
this
two-part?
firing pin going the entire length of this pretty long ass bolt, if this was one piece, you'd have to take a gun drill and essentially go in and drill all the way forward with a skinny ass drill bit the entire way and try to hold tolerances. That is
Tough
a
as
bitch.
shit.
So we didn't. What we have here is instead a split bolt. So push this pin out like
And the
so.
thing comes apart.
And now we
Very
can thread out
nice.
the stem, the firing pin, or excuse me, the bolt, where the firing pin rides.
And that makes that drilling, those two parts much easier than if it were one.
Any day now.
Still going.
Holding,
Still going.
holding.
So first off,
When
most
this-
important
When the screw's a lot longer than you thought it was.
thing that I have to tell you right now is gun wall is improving. Still not
Oh.
sure what I should put up there or
Oh, he's got a ceiling
over
mount.
there. Let me know if you guys have some suggestions. But it's no secret, over the past couple years, I've been buying precious metals
Yeah, that's a Barrett over there.
like gold, silver. Today we're gonna dosing it. Titanium's
we're
become
just
one
gonna
it's
jump
in the
through the
description
ad.
and the pin. Back to the fitty.
There we go.
There.
And now we have
Yeah, that was a much
our
longer.
bolt head.
If you didn't notice, he was like thinking he was done right about over here. He still had that much more to go.
Really the meat of the bolt stem, and the
He was
I guess,
literally only
pusher part
halfway.
of the firing pin. So this is the part that butts up against the piece that is now retained in the front of the firing pin, which there we have here. So now these work in tandem.
Ah,
ignite
that's
the
much
round
better
by
than the
striking
other
the
piece he had.
Now I fucking love this because we have very AK style.
And I like it too because if this little piece breaks, this piece breaks, the one that actually fires the bullets, he can literally just pop it out and pop in a new little bit and have only a little bit of metal be the thing that's wasted if it breaks.
Fluting
Genius.
on this pin. This is an AKM firing pin. So you can see where all the flutes are
Ah, yeah.
on this. And this serves a couple of purposes. Primarily what you're trying to do is reduce the amount of weight that is traveling through that bolt. Because what you don't want to have is, inertia becoming a problem. You don't want the pin to bounce forward when you're going into battery because, as mentioned before, that is a bit
No
of an
good for the
issue.
gun.
You don't want the gun firing as soon as it goes into battery, or really as soon as the bolt closes and before it rotates, because that explodes. The gun explodes.
Yeah.
Not good. So taking as much
Not
weight
good.
as we could out
Correct.
of that as possible.
Especially when
the
it's
boys
a
actually
50.
Built a really cool jig, which I'm going to have Zach explain because Stolen Valor, I don't know how this works really, but he does. I mean, I know how it works, but I didn't build it. I feel like it's kind of like, taking credit for somebody else.
Ah.
Zach, would you like to tell the good people how this works?
So the way we made this thingy here is starting with what's called an ejector rod for an injection molding machine. So if you have
Oh.
these big old plastic injection molding machines making like lawn chairs or whatever, the plastic gets kind of
Very
stuck in there.
specific example.
You ever seen those?
Yeah.
They're pretty cool. These things kick the plastic out, so they're actually very precise, very strong pieces of steel. And so we
That
started
would make
with one
sense
of
why they
these
chose one of those.
and just machined it down to that basically. So we just cut some flats in here, put it in this little jig, lock it in
The Lego
set screws, and then put it
Glock.
in the CNC to cut the flutes, pull it out, rotate it, cut the next set of flutes, etc.
The leg lock.
Sorry.
We did basically the same thing with the firing pin. We just made this out of a raw bar of steel instead, but it's the same idea. Put it in a smaller version of this jig, lock it with set screws, etc.
Once again, AKG tool and die.
Yeah, you wind up doing that a lot more than you think you will when you start doing gunsmithing. It's a lot more tool work than it is gun work.
Yeah, out of necessity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the shit's so niche. I mean, well, with this,
I mean, when it comes to guns, you make it wrong. Anybody heard of Kentucky Ballistics? With his AK or his 50 cal that fucking exploded on him just because some of the ammo he was using wasn't right. Like, that was just one piece of the puzzle. Imagine if part of his 50 cal had been malfunctioning that day along with the ammo. Like, he might not be alive. He could have died that day too, but he stuck a thumb in it and he made it.
there's literally no other gun like this on the planet, so you have to.
Yeah.
But some of the shit that you work on a day-to-day, it's like, well, a tool doesn't exist, so...
Need a tool, make a tool.
Yep.
So I think it's also worth mentioning that this is the intact sample of the old firing pin. Any of you who do machining work, look at this and probably have a heart attack. It is a very long, very skinny part made out of one piece. Basically, when we were getting ready to make this gun, I sent this to a lathe shop, and they said, sure, we can do it. So I was like, okay, I guess we'll just do that. They did it. They pulled it off, and they pulled it off twice.
Wow.
So sometimes you can get away with bad design decisions if you have a good enough machinist. But I'm not a good enough machinist to make another one, hence why we went to two
Double
pieces.
fair.
Which I think is just objectively better.
It's a
for what
better,
we're doing.
yeah, it's a better design in every way. I think we were just kind of anxious to get the gun going bang and just went for it. So
Yeah,
The
which
story
is
of this gun.
yeah. So
yeah.
one
That's
last thing to
he
mention
beat
here,
me to it.
this two-piece design actually has kind of a cone shape there and on there. So when they're hitting each other, it kind of centers itself in the bolt. And
Good.
I don't know, not
Even
strictly
better.
necessary, I don't think, but it works nicely.
Yeah.
It makes
Like
me feel good.
You don't know if we need it, but it's good to, address problems.
I think it's
before they
better to
happen.
have
I like
than not have.
It tickles the tism.
It does. The firing pin is also spring-loaded, so when it's in the bolt, you got a spring right there in the front.
Ah.
And since these two are working together, they're always sitting on each other, and the spring works for both of them.
Which I really do love because that harkens back to some AK stuff. Because a lot of the newer, like the AK 100 series, I think 100 series, or like some of the Arsenal stuff,
The Arsenals, yeah.
had the spring-loaded firing pin. Again, because you're trying to not make inertia a problem.
Yeah.
But also just even the ball there, the ball tip, that it looks like the back end of some of those milled Arsenal
It does.
firing pins.
Or
Just everything looks very AK.
Or the Galil, yeah.
Yeah.
I think part of that is because we do a lot of work with autistic AKs, and so there's only so many shapes floating around in our heads. What else do we got? Oh yeah, the blowout hole. It's a fantastic name. We also added a hole right here behind the locking lugs on the bolt, and this is kind of an emergency
Interesting.
feature in case for.
See, I always love all this machining work. One of my previous jobs was in a steel stamping factory, and we had a whole entire we had every department under the sun in that building. We had a full engineering team, a welding team, the steel stamping area downstairs, and upstairs. That we had our biggest presses. We had 2 of them were 600-ton presses, and they had a 10-foot by 12-foot bed. You could literally load a fucking car in there if you wanted to and smash it. That's how big of area we had to work with. We also had 2 500-ton one 500-ton, a 450, a 400, all the way down to, I think our smallest one was a 175-ton press. But yeah, we had a lot there. It was a good little working area, and if you have an interest in working with metal, making things, and seeing something go from a rolled up coil of steel to that, I would recommend you go get one of those jobs because they pay decent. And if you can find a good enough one that'll treat you well elsewise of pay, you'll do all right. Those people, they do all right.
For whatever reason, you have the firing pin hits the primer a little too deep, a little too hard, bad primer, whatever, and the primer vents. The primer is exposed to the chamber of the casing, so it's getting the full pressure of firing. And if it breaks, you need somewhere for that gas to go. Previously, it would have filled basically a sealed bolt and probably done something really bad. So we added this hole here, and
for ventilation
the flukes on the firing pin extend into that hole so that if it pierces a primer, While this is locked in there, it's going to come out that hole and then come out this hole in the top of the front trunnion.
And the flutes basically allow it to vent to that hole.
Yeah, just guide it right there so that the pressure has somewhere to go. It can vent, get out of the gun instead of pressurizing and doing terrible things. I've seen a pierced primer on an AKM before shoot the firing pin out the back of the bolt carrier so hard that when it hit the rear trunnion, it bent into a banana shape and it blew the dust cover off from the pressure vent and everything.
Holy shit.
So pierced primers are nothing to screw around with.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that we always have to be concerned about. Is like any problem
on this gun is amplified by the fact that this thing shoots 50 BMG.
that would be a catastrophic malfunction. Like I've had AKs blow up on me. Like it's
And like that's the thing. If some of these malfunctions happen while they are testing it in their own hands, they could be dead instantly.
Sounds blasé. It's not that big a deal. 50 BMGs, an artillery piece. Like it's literally an anti-aircraft gun that we shrank down and allowed somebody to shoulder fire.
Yeah.
So you want to be careful with this shit.
Yeah, I mean, the cartridge has been around since the 30s, and it took until Ronnie Barrett in like the 80s to make one shoulder fired. So
anyway, time to see if it works.
All right.
Once again, another AK-50 video where we start out our range time with a nice, beautiful shot of loading up a Barrett magazine. This one, the boys adorned with their own.
Very good. Brandon Herrera for my boyfriend, 26. Nice. I love it.
Whatever. So something that was pointed out to me that's probably a pretty good safety-conscious thing is that we actually have no guarantee right now that this thing is not going to just slam fire because the mass on the firing pin is now slim.
So that means
bigger.
Get a string.
We're just going to take it down to 1 round for now, just in case. So if something bad happens, it only happens once. I love being the guinea pig. It's great.
I mean, this is where you have a jig, you put the weapon in, like Kentucky Ballistics does for some of his tests, and you get a string and you fire it.
I should also probably get some ear pro.
Yeah, that would be a good thing too. Hearing protection is more than recommended.
Nice. I don't even know what to call this.
With this, it's a necessity.
V3 firing pin V2 test fire. Firing 3,
2,
1.
Bam! And man, I love that kick up. Here, I'll do it uninterrupted.
1.
And time to put 2 bullets in.
It works.
All right.
Now let's try a couple.
Kerclack.
Probably just load 2 for now, just to see on the return.
Kerclack, kerclack.
All right, I'm gonna try to aim for that car. If I can hit the rim. Firing. 3.
Can
2,
you get it? Can
1.
he get it? I cannot tell. He doesn't have anything.
I forget how nice that
camera-wise zoned in on the
I always
car.
brace for like 50 recoil, and I never get it.
That's because this recoil is actually not that bad for a 50 cal.
Way less primer flow.
Nice. Yeah, we increased the size.
Size does matter.
So the fitment of the pin in the hole is slightly tighter, and we have slightly less retraction when it gets under pressure and gets pushed back. So the primer flow is way lesser. It looks a lot better.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah, it's not raised like they were before.
Yeah, it's not flowing into the hole.
Squire, fetch my 50.
Fetch my 50 cal, Squire.
Ow.
I have some destroying to do. Because that's all this thing does. It's not for killing. It's here for destroying.
Yeah, try the other one.
If I could see that real quick.
The mag or the...
Yeah, just the mag.
Yeah.
So what's happening is the magazine, it's not going fully level. So when I just took that round out, the nose of that bullet is still beneath the top of the magazine. So if you push forward on it.
Need to give it like a tapered edge.
So
we had magazine problems last time we were at it too.
Oops.
That would be one small modification maybe that would be easy.
Which one's having the issue?
Yeah.
But yeah, from what they've described that issue, that's what I would do. Just give it a little tapered edge at the end of it. And man, boom, boom. just a fucking cannon. And I love it.
All right, we're clear.
That last one went pretty far forward.
The ejection path is not super clear on this particular design, so even though they're all coming out with a lot of energy, they kind of hit different things on the way out.
Yeah.
Hey, they make it out though.
That's the important
Yeah,
bit.
that's
We're
right.
not
Yeah,
reloading
that's
this
the important bit.
It's as if 1,000 thuds cried out in terror and was suddenly silenced.
Bro, can you mail me the brass?
Bro, I'll reload it for you. I'll fucking reload it.
I'll send you a label, bro.
No, we need to record a video of us just throwing it away.
Taking it to the landfill personally.
Now, the third thing that we did on this is
You should just
actually
add
on
that to the end of a
handguard
video as a
protection.
bit or
So,
something.
We kind of knew the shape and direction we wanted to go with the AK-50 front handguard. There was a couple things we dialed in. We didn't know if we wanted to go longer, maybe a little shorter, but we had a rough
I like
idea
the
of
longer
what
bit
this
of
was
that
going to
part.
look like and what it was going to do. What we didn't really figure out until much later was how the fuck we get it to stay where it is. What we ended up settling on was this screw right here. So if you look, you can see where it's threaded in here on the driver's side of the gun. You've got a screw head that's popping out there. It essentially just goes directly through the handguard and through a slot on the barrel that's drilled very much kind of like how an AK barrel pin would be, really.
Nice.
But it's a tapered screw that kind of, sucks in, kind of like the Dishka, really. So while it may not
And who
necessarily
doesn't love a Dishka?
Okay, it was Dishka inspired, so it's at least Russian, Soviet. But this was our old pin. So you can kind of see what I'm talking about there. One of the issues that we really did not foresee, and this was maybe just kind of an oversight, we were just trying to make sure the gun fucking ran. Retaining
Did
the
it
handguard was
pop
kinda
out?
secondary.
Was it
This
something
is a
that
hardened
loosened
steel
over
screw
time?
that at the time was threading into a handguard that is made of aluminum. Rock beats scissors, steel beats
Yeah,
aluminum. Probably not the best call
Not
for
great.
longevity. So quick fix that we did there was now we have a threaded insert like so that actually sticks on the other side
Yeah.
that this threads into.
Major
So
improvement
that's what it tightens
to hold
against. So it is the threaded insert on one side, the screw on the other, and it holds it together in that slot, making sure that this can't move forward. Yes, this is still technically threading into aluminum, but you're dividing it out onto a much, much larger surface area.
Yeah.
So you're minimizing that problem. And again, a lot of these things that we're doing right now are just kind of preventative. The gun's been working more or less fine for hundreds and hundreds of rounds. We're just looking at things that might potentially be issues or things that were issues.
Just imagine with the hundreds of rounds he's fired out of this thing, how much just the rounds have costed for this weapons project, let alone the machining and then the retesting and the constant modifications and the man hour, the labor hour of making this thing. Imagine the cost.
And just problem solving, trying to make this gun the best it can be. And frankly, no matter how you feel about the gun having run to just over 700 rounds without having a breakage, in 2026, that's still better than pretty much any American-made AK. Not at 50 cal. PSA video coming soon. Now that we know the design works,
Wonderful.
we don't have to keep shooting it, but
We
one
want
more
to.
for the road can't hurt.
I mean, to be honest, if this was your gun and you were already out at the range and you had extra ammo, you'd be firing it too. Bam. So
Looks
awesome.
Beautiful. The nice polished firing pin with the brass transferred onto it.
Yeah. That's a good look.
Ah, it does look good.
Sexy. So anyhow, that is the current state of the AK-50 and all the things that have been
Oh
done
wow,
to
that
make
clicking
this
back together is so
the
nice.
best gun it possibly can be. Coming soon, TM. Pre-order start in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
last
yeah,
month's a
right,
joke.
yeah,
I've
right.
Never taken pre-orders on this fucking thing. Be
And he never will take pre-orders because that's not something he, I think, would want to commit to making that many.
beware of people who need pre-orders. It's occasionally a okay thing. It's never a great sign. Anyhow, I hope you found this video to be
I prefer if you wanted to be someone who's like, yes, I'm taking pre-orders because I don't know how many I want to make, and these are expensive as shit. So if I have pre-orders of these are how many I know I need, then we'll go from there. But that's about the only scenario that I'm like, pre-orders make sense. Or if you already have a proven method of manufacturing or whatever it is, the process-wise. If you have proven that, then yeah, take pre-orders and just be like, yeah, we're just getting a number. I don't want to make a shitload more than I need and not be able to sell them or not make enough and have all you mad at me.
Somewhat entertaining. A lot of you guys have that engineering autism where you just think this shit's cool, or maybe you just would fall asleep to a 20-hour loop of my voice reading you the fucking alphabet. I don't know why you're here. But
I come here for the weapons, seeing them fire, and I love the machining of it all. It just looks awesome.
regardless of why, I do appreciate the fact that you are. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. AK-50 is chooching as always, and I will see you sexy YouTube mother lovers in the next video. Thanks.
So, how long till we get the next The AK-50's Broken Again video? I give us 6 months. And he usually has an outro. Maybe? Maybe? Really? Fine, Brandon. You usually have an outro, but you made me watch your video to completion today. Thanks. I enjoyed it anyways. And I hope you enjoyed this too. If you did, hit the like button, get subscribed, and get out of here. I'll see you in the next one later today.